When an emergency strikes, seconds and minutes can mean the difference between life and death. Every 15 seconds that an active shooter has unrestricted access to more people, he will claim another victim. Or when someone goes into cardiac arrest and their heart stops beating, every 1 minute that passes without the initiation of CPR, there's a 10% decrease in survival. It goes without saying, rapid response is critical to saving lives in an emergency. Schools, businesses, healthcare, and government facilities experience emergencies of all types every day. If an emergency occurs at work, the Rave Panic Button smartphone app quickly connects you to 911 and at the same time sends an alert to your colleagues and any security personnel on campus. The app can be used during any type of crisis situation, such as incidents that require immediate 911 assistance or cases where only facility staff members need to be notified. How does the Rave Panic Button app work? During the initial setup, administrators are chosen for your facility and will enter information about the campus at www.smart911facility.com. They can enter facility details such as buildings, floor plans, and landlines, as well as employee names, email addresses, and mobile phone numbers. Once you've been entered into the system by an administrator, you can then download and register with the app. iPhone users will download from the Apple App Store and Android users from the Google Play Store. In the store, click Search, then type Rave Panic Button in the search bar. Now, let's say that you have downloaded the Rave Panic Button app and an emergency occurs at your facility where 911 needs to be notified. Whether you are calling from an iPhone or an Android, first identify the button option that closest relates to your emergency. Hold the button down for 1.5 seconds to activate the emergency call. Both iPhone and Android users will be prompted to first confirm the emergency call before being connected to 911. For instance, if you activate Panic Button to report an active shooter on campus, the app will immediately connect you to 911 and send an emergency alert to all employees at the same time. However, if you activate the medical emergency button, 911 will be dialed, but only key administrators and staff with medical training will be notified. Now, as you know, not all urgent situations require dialing 911. For instance, let's say a school teacher witnesses a minor injury during recess. The teacher can then choose the Staff Assist feature to only notify the nurse on campus and key administrators. Another example may be if the smoke detector goes off at your facility but turns out to just be a false alarm. Staff Assist can then be used to notify all on-site employees that it is safe to re-enter the building. Now that we've discussed how the Panic Button app can help in an emergency, what are the next steps? Number 1, ensure your employer has your mobile phone number and email address so you will be authorized to register with the app. Number 2, download the Rave Panic Button app, then register your information. Number 3, in the event of an emergency, use the Rave Panic Button app to be connected to 911 and automatically notify others on campus. There are answers to the most commonly asked questions about Rave Panic Button online at www.ravepanicbutton.com, but it's worth addressing a few of them in this video. The first question most commonly asked is it a requirement to download and use the Rave Panic Button app? While most organizations have not required their employees to download the Rave Panic Button app, it is highly recommended that you do. The app provides a faster notification and communication process, which could be life-saving in an emergency. The second question states, do employees have to use the Rave Panic Button app to call 911? While you are encouraged to use the app to make an emergency call, you should contact 911 in the fastest and safest way possible. The third question most commonly asked is, what happens if an individual activates the Rave Panic Button app while off campus? The answer to this question is, your phone will still dial 911, but no emergency notifications will be sent to employees due to your location at the time of the call. And finally, is it worth providing my mobile phone number to my employer if I do not have a phone that can support the Rave Panic Button app, or if I simply do not want to download it? This is a great question. If you do not have the app installed on your phone, you can still receive SMS text and email notifications when there is an incident on your campus that you need to be aware of. Therefore, it is highly recommended that you still provide your contact information to your employer, whether or not you intend to download the app. To learn more about the Rave Panic Button app, go to www.ravepanicbutton.com.
Hello, my name is Jason Gray with the Oklahoma State Department of Education's Office of School Safety and Security. I would like to welcome you to today's Safety and Awareness Campaign presentation, Frequently Asked Questions about the Rave Panic Button. We have with us today Mr. R.B. Hoff, the Strategic Account Manager for Rave Mobile Safety. Thank you for joining us today, R.B., and without further ado, take it away.
Hi, my name is R.B. Hoff, and I work for Rave Mobile Safety. I am stationed in Edmond, Oklahoma, and I am the one to help all the schools and the 911 centers get set up with the Rave Panic Button app. I am retired law enforcement. I retired from the Payne County Sheriff's Office after 30 years, the last 11 years as sheriff. This initiative is designed for all schools, public and charter, and if you ever have any questions, I am here to help. Thank you.
What is Rave Panic Button?
Rave Panic Button is a safety app that is designed to go on all of the school's staff's phones. So superintendent, teachers, cooks, custodians, bus drivers, any employee that's at the school should have the app on their phone.
How does Rave Panic Button work at my school?
The way Rave Panic Button works is all the staff will have the app on their phone, and the school administrators will set up a geofence boundary ahead of time that encompasses each of the school's campuses. So in order for anybody to activate Panic Button, they have to be inside of one of their approved geofence campuses. This way, when there is an activation, depending on which button was activated, staff and key personnel will get notifications.
How does Rave Panic Button work with local law enforcement?
Rave Panic Button works with your local law enforcement if they have the Rave portion installed in their 911 center. When Panic Button is activated, the 911 center will see the name of the person who activated Panic Button, which button they activated, as well as a map view of where on that campus they're at when they activated the button. They also get to see any floor plans, any key information that the school uploads into the system. That's instantly available to the 911 center.
How does a school create an account with Rave Panic Button?
So all of the school districts in Oklahoma, I have already created an account. And so you don't need to go in and register and create your own account. I have already done that on the backside to help save time and make it much easier to deploy Panic Button for your district. As we have new superintendents or new school administrators to the different districts, they may not know that the account's already created. So just know that they are already created and you don't need to create your own account.
How do school employees gain access to Rave Panic Button?
In order to have access to Rave Panic Button, your school administrators must create an account and have the district set up with Rave Panic Button. And then one of the last steps that the school administrators will do is reach out to the staff, let them know that this Rave Panic Button app is available to download on their phone. Once the school loads the staff members into the system, staff will be then directed to download the app and they can have the app on their phone.
What is geofencing?
Yes, so geofencing is something that school administrators set up ahead of time when they're building their Rave facility. And geofencing basically is they create a geofence area that encompasses all of the school campus or multiple campuses. So just the whole boundary of a school property. That is a safety feature, so you can only activate those panic buttons inside that green geofenced area and messages will be sent. If you're outside of that geofenced area, it knows your phone is outside and it simply won't send messages. There's not really a reason that a staff member would need to activate Panic Button if they weren't inside of that geofenced area of a campus. This helps with accidental dials. So if staff members are at home, their child plays with their phone and hits one of the 5 buttons, the schools don't get messages sent as a safety feature.
What is Staff Assist?
Staff Assist is a internal communication component that is built into Rave Panic Button. And that simply allows a set of templates to be created by the school administrator that the staff can choose which templates to use. And these templates are designed to be all non-emergency, non-911 type messages. So everyday type stuff that schools may deal with. Maybe it's a minor injury on the playground. Maybe it's a student that's they're unable to locate immediately. Maybe it is a facility issue. So maybe a staff member identifies a door that's not securing properly. Staff members can choose from those templates and let school administrators know. Now, school administrators can also create custom messages to communicate with their staff or certain groups of staff. Again, it is meant to be non-emergency and it can be used as often as you need, whether you're on campus or not.
Can I use the app when I am not at my school site?
You can use the Panic Button app if you are not on a school site. If that is the easiest way for you to connect to 911, you can absolutely do that. Now, if you're outside of a geofence campus, it's not going to send messages to any staff members. It's just going to prompt you to call 911 and it will connect you with the 911 operator. It will not share any of the school's information with the 911 operator. But again, if that's the easiest way for you to connect to 911, you can absolutely use that feature in the Rave app. So if you are off campus and you need to use the Rave Panic Button app to connect to 911, you have to hold the button down for 1.5 seconds, just like you do if you're inside your school campus, in order to be prompted to call 911. So any of the 5 buttons you can use, no messages will go out, but you do have to press and hold any of the 5 buttons for 1.5 seconds to activate.
Will I receive notifications if I am not at my school site?
So if you are off your campus outside of your geofenced area, you will still receive notifications, whether you're the superintendent, the bus driver, or any of the staff members. If the active assailant or the fire button are activated, those 2 buttons are designed to notify all staff. Whether you're on campus or not, you will receive those notifications. So you can actually be the bus driver out on the route and they can receive notifications if there's a fire activation. They simply know not to show up at school with a busload of kids. They can divert and stage elsewhere.
What types of phones can I download the Rave Panic Button on?
The Rave Panic Button app is designed for Androids and Apple devices. So if you have a Android, it has to be version 10 or newer. Android does not support any of their versions less than 10. And then most of the Apple phones, the versions they do support.
What happens if I choose not to download the app on my personal phone?
If you choose not to download the free app on your personal phone, you can still receive notifications if you provide your school administrators with your cell phone number. Now, the app is free. There is no third-party selling, or you will not get any spam information, but you can still receive notifications. You just won't be able to activate any of the panic buttons if you need to in the event of an emergency.
What if I accidentally activate a Rave Panic Button?
Yes, so if you accidentally activate one of the 5 buttons by pressing and holding a button for 1.5 seconds and you get that prompt to call 911, even if it's accidental, unintentional, go ahead and press call and talk to that 911 operator and let them know it's an accidental dial. There is no harm in that. And it simply lets that dispatcher know that they don't need to start sending resources to that school. 911 accidental dials is very common. And by calling and letting them know that it was accidental just saves a lot of manpower and time.
Last thoughts?
One of the things that I would like to remind people, not only do you have to press and hold the button for the 1.5 seconds to activate any of the 5 buttons, but also that Rave panic button works whether you have Wi-Fi or cellular. Oftentimes, I am going to suggest that a school use panic button as part of their required drills. So their fire drills, their tornado drills, and I can actually send you a drills guide that will help walk you through that with your 911 center. If you have your staff practice and learn what the sound is, what it looks like when there's an activation, they're going to become more comfortable with it and be able to use it more proficiently in the event of a real emergency. Now, Oklahoma has already had a lot of activations with Panic Button app. The majority of those are medical for staff or students. So when seconds count, the Panic Button app simply saves time, which in turn saves lives. Part of the Panic Button app is designed to utilize your on-site resources. So if you're a school district that has SROs on campus, when that active assailant button's activated, that SRO knows instantly who pushed the button and where on the campus do they need to respond until first responders can arrive. Same way with the medical button, when that button's activated, it's not designed to notify all the staff members, but just school personnel and key people that the school has designated as CPR staff. Those staff members instantly know where they need to respond to render first aid till first responders arrive. So that is the second component of what Panic Button does, is utilize those on-site resources until outside first responders can arrive.
Thank you for joining us today. If you have further questions or would like more information, we hope you'll reach out. We would love to come out to your school, help you get set up with the Rave panic button, answer any questions that you may have, or even bring some professional development to your staff. Once again, thank you for your time, and we will see you next time.